Hello, my name is Tristan Brownowell, and this is my presentation on the YWCA in Carlisle, and it also covers Cumberland County as a whole. Um, so the location of this organization is in Carlisle. It's on 301 G Street. It's very much like on the outskirts of Carlisle, so it's a little hard to find. Um, and there's not really much like around it. So the organizational history, it started in 1919, but it started as a daycare center, and it also offered programs for women. So programs for women to like feel better about themselves as well as taking care of their children at the daycare center. It helped women find jobs. It helped women who were victims of some kind of violence, whether it be domestic violence, sexual violence, or both. So it also started clubs for African American girls in the 1930s. And it was basically just empowering them, looking out for them, kind of protecting them, and it provided food for those in need during the Great Depression time. The YWCA has obviously changed throughout the years. It stands for Young Women's Christian Association. Um, and this is not as accurate as it was when it first started. It was started by a group of Christian women. Nowadays, they don't really use that acronym. They just use YWCA because it's well known, but not everybody knows like what it means. So, but it's definitely more diverse now. They help everybody that needs help. Services provided that they help people who are victims of sexual violence, sexual assault, domestic violence, rape. They are they offer services for women who need housing, anybody who needs housing. They offer services for preschool, and they also help the local jail that the Cumberland County Prison that is near it. So they help prisoners there. Which brings me to the mission statement, which is eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. So, my literature review, my main question was, how does trauma from sexual assault impact mental health? I chose to do this because the YWCA deals a lot with sexual assault and also with mental health and counseling and everything. And I chose this because I do have a history with both of them, and I felt like I could represent it well. So there were a lot of studies that I found, but three that I chose to bring to this presentation is the impact of sexual violence in mid-adolescent on mental health. This was a study that was done in the UK, and it was population-based. It was basically finding information from like doctors, mental health specialists, and bringing it to like what was reported of children that were under 17 years old, and then comparing the two to see if their experiences with sexual assault also matched the decline of mental health. Another one was the qualitative study of sexual assault, disclosure impact, and help seeking on support providers. So this study I found really interesting. It focused on support providers of people who were sexual assault survivors. So basically people who provided support, whether it be friends, family, acquaintances that provided support to people who were survivors of sexual assault. Um, and it helped that like understand how their mental health was impacted by seeing a loved one go through something like that. Impact of sexual abuse on mental health, pretty self-explanatory. This was another case that was based on children. It just um, studied the children that were registered for like um, help with mental health issues and if they had any sexual assault history. So my interview was pretty interesting. I learned that I interviewed Amanda Snook. I learned that the population that the YWCA sees the most is the prisoners from the Cumberland County Prison. I thought that was pretty interesting because I thought that the YWCA would see mostly children. So I thought that was something cool to learn about. Um, how little workers know about the organization itself, because the person that I interviewed, Amanda, she's a counselor and she works at the organization, but she doesn't really know like the logistics of like how many people work there or like how laws are made and stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting to see how like not everybody in the organization knows everything about it. So another thing that I learned from my interview is the mistreatment in the system. Because they see people from the jail, they also see a bunch of mistreatment from the jail. Um, like whether it be by the guards or anything like that. And she was very reluctant to tell me that because she didn't want it to like impact her as a worker or like get out to the public or anything. She asked me if I was writing a report like that was going to be published. Um, Another thing is that not one person is in control. It's basically a board. And I thought that it would be like one person that was above everybody else, but it is a board. So those are some interesting facts that I learned about my interview, or I learned about the organization through my interview. So SWAT, the strengths are the acceptance of all throughout the organization, and also programs that are offered through the organization. Um, Definitely, they accept all genders, all sexualities, all races, and anybody, and they offer a lot of programs for different people. So, like whether it be for children, for women, for LGBTQ plus youth, and it's very diverse. Weaknesses are that workers are not as accepting. The newer workers from like newer generations obviously are more accepting of like gender identity and sexuality. However, people who have been working there for a while and like have been there throughout these changes are not as knowledgeable about the LGBTQ plus community. So they're not as accepting or and don't know a lot about it. Another weakness is the location of it. Like I said, it's very secluded. It's in the back. It's not really known about as much. I mean, the YWCA is a big organization, but the fact that it's located in Carlisle is kind of unknown to a lot of people that I know because of the placement of it. Opportunities, employment status, they're currently looking for some people who um, are needed to work there. Um, Volunteering, there are a lot of volunteer opportunities. And quality of life, the YWCA definitely helps people in their quality of life and help them feel better about themselves. It's their clients are able to reach out and get the help that they need. Threats, there obviously is a lack of representation in the organization itself, which could cause clients to feel a little bit um, like distant and not like wanting to reach out. And another threat is because of COVID, there is a lack of in the workforce, like a lack of employees and a lack of people to help around at the organization. So reflection, I learned about the organizational assessment process that I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was the presentation itself, like putting everything together was a lot of work. Um, and I'm definitely happy that I got um, started with it earlier on so that I could do everything to my pace. And I was told by Amanda Snook, the person that I interviewed at the YWCA organization, that she has helped people with presentations before. So it it was very much like she knew what she was doing. She knew that she was helping me. So I I learned that people with these kind of jobs also do help social work students and other students. So that's pretty cool. Um, I would use an organization assessment to better understand an agency, better understand their mission, their like what they do according to. I just lost my train of thought. Um, I would use the organizational assessment to like better understand what the agency does, its mission, and the population that they help. Um, in my personal experience, I am looking to work with children. Um, this organization has also inspired me to want to work with people who have trauma, just because I've looked over the website and all of the programs and everything that they do with sexual assault survivors, domestic violence survivors. It's very much, it seems like not only does it seem like a rewarding profession, but it also seems like it has a very big impact on the community. And there also is a hotline for people who are in immediate danger or in crisis. So, like, I think that's pretty cool as well. And I would probably use an organizational assessment to see, you know, the strengths, the weaknesses, what I like about the community, what I don't like about the community, um, so that I can see if an agency is the right match for me. Um, And it would also be interesting to see the studies that are also covered in an organizational assessment. So, working at an organization that, say, helps people who are homeless, which the YWCA does do that to an extent, but if it is an organization that strictly focuses on that, I think it would be interesting to um, do the research and kind of see like the background of everything and then apply it to how I have experienced it in the organization and will experience it in the organization. So this project was really interesting for me, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed learning things about the YWCA and other organizations in general. And I also enjoyed researching how trauma from sexual assault affects mental health. And I think this is it. So thank you for watching. And yeah, that's my presentation.